Kamala will deliver a 1929-style depression, not recession.
Former President Donald Trump held a campaign rally in Biden's hometown of Scranton, Pennsylvania. He offered prayers for those affected by Hurricane Milton as it began to impact Florida.
I also want to send our love to everyone in Florida. They're going through a big one tonight. It's going to arrive tonight sometime around midnight, a little before midnight, and we're praying for them and asking God to keep them all safe, all those people. I've never seen a hurricane like that.
Trump continued to insult his rival, Vice President Kamala Harris.
Kamala Harris is a radical left Marxist, rated even worse than crazy Bernie Sanders. Actually, rated even worse than Pocahontas. Has anyone heard of Pocahontas? She was an original creator of defund the police movement, and anybody who wants to defund the police for even 1 week is not worthy of being president of the United States. She was one of the originals. Defund the police.
He maintained his campaign schedule despite the storm threatening to overshadow the presidential race, raising concerns about potential catastrophic damage in Tampa and other areas along Florida's Gulf Coast. Trump directed personal insults at Harris, describing her as,
"She's grossly incompetent, she cannot be trusted, and she is totally ill-equipped to do the job of being president of the United States." Let me tell you, I know all of them.
He also criticized one of the hosts of ABC's The View, who had interviewed Harris on Tuesday.
I think the other one asking the question is dumber than Kamala, so that's like...
He remarked,
"She's a dummy. I watched her over the years. That is one dumb woman. Sorry. I'm sorry, women. She's a dummy." The only one that agrees with that more than me are the women in the audience.
Regarding Hostin's question to Harris,
would you have done something differently than President Biden during the past 4 years?
In response, Harris stated
there
that
is not a thing that comes to mind in terms of, and I've been a part of most of the decisions that have had impact.
In a social media post on Tuesday, Trump claimed that Harris was being exposed as a dummy and labeled the hosts of the daytime talk show as degenerates. Trump and his campaign have focused on Harris's response to the question about President Biden.
So think of this, what she said. "No, I can't think of anything." Did you see she froze? Did you see where her teleprompter went out? Her teleprompter went out, and she said it was 32 days or something before the election. So she said, 32, 32, 32, 32, 32. She was freaked out. Thank God that sucker went back on. I would have been, I don't know what she would have jumped off the stage. Now, when you do this stuff, I would say probably about 15% of the time, the teleprompters, they go out. And either can you imagine it goes out for Joe Biden? He's no good with the teleprompter blazing, right? No, it's gone out with him a couple of... You know what he does? He stops, looks around, and he walks off. But he can never find the stair, so it's a problem. He's looking around for stairs. Has anyone seen a stairway? We have more stairs than these platforms. I don't know what the hell it is. It must be a fire problem. There's like 6 stairs. And do you ever notice he can never find his way off the platform? Secret Service does a great job in that respect. They come up, they get him, they walk him off. But he looks better, I'm telling you. As I said, he looks better now than I've ever seen him looking. He's angry. He's angry at her. There's going to be an explosion before the election with them. Those two are going to be, there's going to be an explosion. Did you see he held a news conference right in the middle of her one big event that she's had in about 2 weeks? He got up and held a news conference. He walked into the room. Nobody ever does that. He walked into the room and, this is a news conference, oh. And then he just died after, but it didn't matter. Can you believe that our country is being run by these people?
Trump also blamed the Biden-Harris administration.
Who can win with high taxes, open borders, allowing murderers to come in? You saw that last week. 13,099 murderers allowed to come in through them. Over 13. Many of them have murdered more than one person. Is there anybody in the audience that's in that group, please? Because if they are, we want to get the hell out of here or get him out of here. If we win Pennsylvania, we win the whole thing. It's very simple. And your taxes will come down and your safety will go up. But we had an incredible evening here on Saturday. You probably heard about it. Maybe some did, maybe some didn't. I don't know. It was in a beautiful place called Butler, Pennsylvania.
He claimed that
I will deliver lower taxes, lower regulations, low energy costs, low interest rates, low inflation, and the greatest economy in the history of the world, which we had 4 years ago. We had that. We were going up. Nobody's ever seen anything like what we had. I was shaking hands with people back. I said, how you doing? We did great 4 years ago, 5 years ago, my company. I made all my money, and now we're not doing good. Everybody said we're not doing well. The taxes are too high, the interest rates, we can't borrow money at 10%. They were at 2% with me. Now they're at 10%, but they're not really, because you can't get money at 10%. So that means they're higher. 12, how about 13, how about 15? So it means it's much higher. It's not 10%. You can't get the money. Nobody can get the money at 10%. We will pass tax cuts for workers like you haven't seen before. And we will have no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security benefits for our great, 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 great seniors. To bring jobs back and factories back and wealth. All we want to do, we want to bring wealth back to Pennsylvania. We want to bring wealth back to our country. We will have a 15% made in America corporate tax rate. You know, I took it from 39% to 21%. Everyone said it couldn't be done. By the way, Steve Moore was a great guy. Do you know who Steve Moore is? Great economist. He wrote a book, The Trump Miracle. And the book is #1 book.
later, during his rally in Reading, he referred to her answer as
So her answer, that she would do nothing different, is disqualifying. Kamala Harris is grossly incompetent, she cannot be trusted, and she is totally ill-equipped to do the job of President of the United States of America. She's ill-equipped. Frankly, Joe Biden is ill-equipped also, but at least he got 14 million votes, right? He's also ill-equipped, but what are you going to do? The October 7th attack on Israel would never have happened, but she said that was fine too because she didn't want to change. She actually said she didn't want to change anything. She'd leave it the way it is. So I said, let's make a list of just some of the bad things. This is just a small list. October 7th, where you take a look at what happened. She doesn't want to change that. The slaughter of a lot of people. The Ukraine disaster, millions of dead people because of the weakness of this administration. Putin never would have gone into Ukraine if I were president. It would never, ever have happened.